Hello and welcome to this video. I originally wanted to do a kind of voiceover thing where I talk about the Machinima tools that already are in Hytale and then how to improve them, but honestly I noticed that kind of seems like the best option would be to throw them out the window and make something completely new. So the video is gonna work a bit different than expected. I'm gonna first show a bit of my, I guess, reactions when I went through them, and then my ideas for what we need, I guess. Yeah, so my goal with this video is ideally to maybe reach someone at Hypixel Studios to at least consider my ideas, and also to spark conversation with other people anticipating better Machinima tools, people wanting to make Machinima and Hytale, or cinematics I guess also, for adventure maps and stuff. So other people as well can say their ideas and their hopes and wants and hopes and dreams and needs. Yeah, so let's begin. Why is my view blocked? Why can't I move the camera here around? When I'm doing this, I probably want to have a way lower FOV than I usually have. And also I want to move around a lot slower probably. But now here's the problem. If I change the FOV, there's no quick way to do it. I have to do it in the settings, and it's done for my usual playing too. And now if I go back, I'm slow as fuck. Barely even see me moving. Why doesn't pressing N work? I have to hold the Machinima tool for the button to work. I just created this world. Why are scenes from other worlds here? Pressing Enter doesn't work. I have to click the button. Also, why is? I mean, I get that there's no folders here, although that would be nice. But why isn't there even like a search? Does help too? Okay, this is nice. Would be nice if there was a way to disable weather change. There probably is. Okay, now we come to the actually stupid stuff, and I hope I'm not gonna sound mean in the video, but I really don't get it. When I am in the Machinima Tools tab, why is my camera still the usual camera? I have a camera track added here. Why can't I just see what the camera sees? That would make so much more sense. Why am I outside the camera? Why am I in my usual view? I want to see what the camera sees when I'm in here. Also, this UI is way too big. This all needs to be way smaller. Why do I have to scroll to change the angle? Why am I outside? I want to see what the camera sees. Is there any way to do that? There we go. Why do I have to activate that? That should be the default. Why would I not want to do that? I have to change the FOV here? You can't animate the FOV? Why can't I do Control A here? Why am I still in the camera? How do I... That is so stupid. Okay, when I open the menu, I want to be in the camera. When I close it, I don't want to be anymore. That should be the default. There we go. There aren't even... Okay, look, not being able to change the camera by flying around here is bad enough. But I have to change these values individually. I can't... there's not even something to drag them. I can't even Control A in here. I can't even press Control. How do I... It doesn't even update. Okay, now it does. Would be nice if I have to change the values to have an XYZ indicator here. I don't know which direction is which. This is probably not what I want it to look like when I'm rendering or recording, because there's no inbuilt rendering. What I want it to be is probably this 16:9. But in here, it has this super weird aspect ratio where also the upper part is completely blocked. I need to see the entire frame of what I'm doing. If I'm not even just making a Machinima, if I'm making a cinematic, I need to know exactly what the player or viewer will see in the end. I should be able, in the settings of the scene, to put an aspect ratio I want, and then it's just gonna be here a 16:9 frame, and the rest can just be black, or at least an indicator. I guess I can see the entire thing, but I need an indicator here. This is the part the player's actually gonna see. Because this is just insane. This doesn't make sense at all. Okay, another gripe I have. I can use the Machinima tool to change the position of the camera. And I mean, that's nice enough. That's, I guess, the entire point where this isn't just a menu, but what for, you know? Because when I change what the camera sees. I need to know what the camera sees, and this indicator here really isn't helping because my perspective is completely messing it up. It looks like the camera sees this part, like this gray stuff over here. But in actuality, it sees like a tiny part of that. At least when I have it selected and I'm able to move it, there should be, like in the top right corner or something, a small preview of what the camera sees. Oh. Okay, so now I have an active camera that doesn't exist anymore, but it's still active. How do I get out of that? Okay, that's definitely... Why is this still here? The camera doesn't exist anymore. Okay, I'm not gonna get too caught up on the like obvious bugs because obviously it should be fixed. I want to talk about features. Okay, maybe it would be good to make myself invisible when I'm in here. Okay, so apparently the thing when you move around to create new keyframes is X. Let's try making it simple. Okay, how do I go in here? Okay, yeah, so that's nice, but the thing is I mean, if you're trying to make a like very quick cinematic where you show off a build, I guess that can work, but in all other cases, there's like when making Machinima, I don't just wanna create a quick camera path based on where I look. I wanna be able to easily, quickly change how the camera works. And I also need like, I don't just need paths, I also need like the camera just looking in a certain angle for a bit, then looking at a different angle, then at a different angle. I mean, I guess you can do that here with keyframes, but okay, I can't scroll out here. Amazing. Okay, the thing I entered down here just doesn't affect anything. Okay, let's try to like actually do something. Okay, I just press to create a keyframe. Here, what options do I have? Add setting. Type curve, entity state, field of view. I can. Why is field of view a setting and not just something here? Okay, events, animation camera, command particle type. Okay, I gotta be honest, like, I only have to like bare plain values here to work with, and I don't even know which direction is which. I don't really have a choice but to do keyframes outside, which sucks because I don't see a preview. Like, I have to change it in here because otherwise I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, so now it's gonna be animated, but what if I want it to be instant? What if I just wanted to change to that when it reaches this keyframe? What is curve? There's just no options, okay. Entity state, field of view. Easing? Can I change easing? Yeah, okay. Okay, so I can change the easing at least. That's good that we have that. Does it work? Well, it's really quick, so I'm not sure. Do I have that on the other? I have to do it here. Okay, I have to do it on the first one. Okay, is there Control Z? No, of course not. And let's go back to linear then. Is there instant? No. I mean, I could try just like doing another keyframe before, but can I copy keyframes? No, I can't even copy keyframes. So now I'd have to copy every individual value. Now Control A works over here, but I can't copy. This is what is a GIF I just posted on Discord. I can't copy the values. I'd have to manually type them. Yeah, I guess so. Really, the only thing you can do is add a camera and then do your points with X, and you got a nice little camera path. But it's like everything you can do. Like in terms of camera, unless you're gonna type out all these individual values, there's nothing else you can do. So first of all, what we really need, make the UI better. I want to see everything at once. I want to be able to drag these. I want to be able to just move the camera here, make the camera active by default. Just don't make these settings I have to add, just let them be here. Just add them here. And most importantly, give me the option to make a keyframe instant. Like, what if I don't want it to animate? What if I just want it to be there? I mean, I think there's one thing I can do. Let's try that. Or can I remove a keyframe? Of course I can't. Can I create a camera here? Okay, the camera is created wherever I am, not where the camera is. So now we got a camera here. Now we go over here. Now I go over here and create another camera. And now let's see. I go here on the first keyframe, camera 1, add event, camera. Sure. Camera event. Here, activate camera, yes. And I go here and do the same, but I tell it camera. This is so tedious. Why does it work like this? And turn it off. Now I go here. Make keyframes here. Is the right one? Okay, this one's selected now. Add event, camera. Why is there already one there? And the game crashed. Okay, so we'll just use the one that's already there. I guess. Now we'll make it here deactivate and here activate. So now does it switch? No. Okay, so we're now gonna create an entity. Can I move you around? Yes. Okay, it even sticks to surfaces. That's nice, I guess. Can I move you? Rotate, I mean. Yes, I can. Oops. I did not mean to do that. But I can't delete keyframes, so I guess we're stuck with this now. What kind of settings do we have here? The same? Okay. Okay, so... okay, so this rotates the head, and this rotates the body. I see. Use current player model. Doesn't seem to work. What does mute do? I don't know. Model? Why doesn't it say anything? Okay, emitting light. Oh, I can't even set a color. Did not do anything. Yeah. Okay, but it only works at night. Yeah, that's nice though, I guess. Can make it bigger. That works. I can change the model, but I have to type the name of the model in here, and to find the name I have to go into the asset editor. Quebec sapling Christmas blue. Okay, it works, but why isn't that a drop down? What's wrong about a drop down? Can I still move you around the same way though? Seems like it. And I have to find the animations in here too. Okay, so change the animations. I need to in keyframe add an event animation, and then here press on edit. Animation slot? Okay, why is everything a menu? Why is everything a field? Why? Let's put sprint. Hello? Did that like do anything? Okay, now that animation is playing. Yeah, so why do I have to go for this? I have to create a key. Okay, look at this. You have to create a keyframe, select the keyframe, click on events, click on add event, click on add event, click on edit, and then type out an animation ID you have to find inside of the Hytale edit editor, which is a whole separate app you have to have open. I really don't get it. Okay, so let's check out the other events real quick. Why is it still here? It should be limited to the keyframe I edited on. Particle. Oh, this has a drop down, of course. Let me guess, no search? Of course not. Did that work? I think I saw something. And there's also command. Let's see if that works. Type set 23. No, but the particle works now. No, it doesn't. Oh, what is going on here? Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I originally wanted to make this video in a way where I first show what's there already and then talk about how you could improve it, but ignoring the fact that practically everything you would need to make an actual machinima is missing. What is there already, and I'm gonna say it with full honesty, sucks. Now, I don't want to seem like too... I don't know the word, like, I love everything else about this game. Everything about this game is like great, if you remember it's an alpha, of course. Everything about this game is great. Except this. So yeah, let's move on to some thoughts I have what should be, like what we really need here. Honestly, I think, as hard as that sounds, pretty much everything we have should be thrown out of the window. And we need something completely new, and we need something that is done in conversation with actual machinima makers. People who made machinimas before and want to make machinimas in Hytale, with animators, with, I guess, people that want to make adventure maps and cinematics. Like, you need to, like, from the moment you start working on this, be in talks with those, with at least one person who would actually gonna be use this, because otherwise you end up with something like this. And of course, what is this user experience? Why are there so many sub-menus and settings and things you need to add? Why is this so big? Why can't I drag here? Why can't I move the camera here? I'm not gonna mention like the bugs and crashes, because obviously I think most of them are known, and obviously those are going to be fixed. Okay, yeah, I know we're in Minecraft right now, but it's what I'm familiar with in terms of making machinima. So, and alongside my suggestions, I just want to show off how it works here, I guess. So what I use is BBSFS, which is a fork of BBS mod, which is a mod to make machinima. As you can see, you have every important value here on one screen and can immediately change it. And I don't have to type the numbers. I can also do this, but also I can just do this. And of course, I see what the actual camera sees and not what I see. Because why would I want to see what I see? I want to see what the camera sees. And also, this is exactly like 16:9, and I have an XYZ here. Yeah, so here camera works very differently. It has these clips, and these clips are awesome because there's different types of them. So for example, there's idle. And idle is just putting the camera in a certain spot. But what's cool about it is I can create a second one that's elsewhere. And now when I go through it, wow, the camera switches positions, which is like the base of how film works, I guess. But there's also, for example, here path, which then would basically be what Hytale has at the moment. You create points, and then it animates through them. What's awesome is you can put them above each other, like the one on top takes priority, but you can put them above each other, which right now doesn't make sense, but it does make sense when you consider there's clips like shake, because now I can put some shake here, and now this is shaking. I can also make the shake animate in and out, and I can even give that a different interpolation. Now I have the shake effect, and here I can change what value should be affected by the shake. And this is just examples, of course, but I'm not saying just copy this camera system of clips, but it is better what Hytale has at the moment. If they want to stay with keyframes, I get that, but then make it better and easier to use, especially for something like doing shot on shot. You need to be able to quickly switch between shots. Also, I guess I could mention that there's keyframe here too, but it works like this. It's just another clip. Yeah, so then how characters work here is really interesting, because, for example, I have my character here, and I can move all of his limbs and stuff, but I can also give him like attachments. They're called body parts here, which lets me do something like this, putting a grass block on his head. And if I recall correctly, Hytale has a pretty wide array of not only entities, but also like attachments to put onto them. And if we had like access to those, if we had like a full-on character creator where we could create characters and put attachments on them and save them in a gallery of characters to use in our movies, that would be good. Like, I think right now there is a way in in Hytale's Machinima tools currently to get that to work, to give characters like the look of an avatar, to give them clothes and stuff, but it's super tedious. But if you're actually gonna make Machinima, you're gonna have characters and you're gonna need to like create and save them somewhere. They're gonna appear in multiple like scenes at least, or episodes if you're making a series. So for example, if this was a character now, Franz with a grass block, I could just copy him to a category that I created, and now I saved him and I can use him in any scene I want. And as you can see, for the Machinima I'm working on right now, I have like all the characters I need here, because I'm gonna use them in every scene, so of course I'm gonna have to save them somewhere. I'm not gonna create them from new every time. Like, this is not really just a character gallery, this is also just every model. It's like a mix of both, but a way to create characters and somewhere to save them is like pretty much needed if we're gonna make Machinima. So now in here I can add my character I saved, and now he's here. And now, as you can see here, I can just animate everything about him. Looks a bit different here, but it's essentially the same. Every value is just its own track. Yeah, and I can fully change them here. And I can also change the pose. So if I want to animate his head, I'm gonna go here and say head, and then go here, and I'm gonna move his head. And then I'm gonna change the interpolation to something more smooth, and now he's moving his head. But that's not everything, because animating and the entire movement like this is pretty tedious. So what I can do just here is, where is he? He's here. I can press a button. Now I'm him, and now it records my movement, and when I'm done I press the button again. When I go in here, you can see the keyframes updated. It saved the entire movement I did, which is really awesome way to quickly make movement. Like, of course, if I want his face to animate a certain way, if I want him to like give a high five or something, I'm gonna animate that. But if I just want to have someone move through a hallway, why would I have to animate that when I could also just record my movement, which is like so useful in so many scenarios. So yeah, these are the things I think would be most important for Hytale's Machinima tools: having a way to create and save characters, a better camera system, and being able to record player movement. All of this, of course, not just copied from here in a way that works for Hytale and stuff. Also, quick note before I continue, there's shadows on the green screen, and I guess sometimes you want it, but ideally there should be like no shadows here. Like, I don't know exactly how the graphics engine of Hytale works, how the lighting works, but having a separate green screen block that does not receive shadows would be very good. Yeah, so I think these, alongside general UI and UX improvements, obviously bug fixes and crash fixes, I guess, and maybe consulting actual Machinima makers when making the Machinima tools. I mean, maybe they did that before, but it's always important to, I guess, do and say that. That would be great. But the holy trinity of things we need: better camera, a way to create and save a gallery of characters, and recording player movement, because that just makes everything a lot quicker and enables you to do a lot more stuff. Also, a fourth thing I kind of forgot: in BBS mod, and there's this thing where you can render the scene directly inside of the game without having to record it with something like OBS. And what it does is you say how many FPS you want and what resolution you want, and it scales up or down the game depending on the resolution. And if you're like in a really laggy scene or have a really bad computer and you normally play with like 10 FPS, you can still have the final video be rendered in 60 FPS, because the game just slows down so it can calculate all the frames. And I know there's no way to render in-game right now in Hytale, you have to capture it with something like OBS, but if they add something like that, I have no idea how hard this is to program. It's probably insanely tedious, but I honestly think that it should be expected is to do something like that, where you say how many FPS you want and then it slows down the game to calculate all those frames and then have them in the final video. Just just like an editing program, like in Premiere Pro. In Premiere Pro, you don't just like edit your video and then watch it through the preview and record that with OBS. No, you render it and every frame is rendered. And in the final video, you have a smooth video. And I honestly think Hypixel Studios should do this if they actually want to have machinima tools here in Hytale, because if they don't, there's gonna be a huge disparity between people who have good computers that have high FPS and people who have bad computers that have low FPS. Because no matter how awesome a machinima is someone makes, if it has 10 FPS, a lot of people aren't going to watch it. But making it so everyone has the chance to get a machinima that has the FPS they want, no matter how bad their computer is, at the cost of, I guess, waiting 10 more minutes for it to render, that is something that would just put that disparity away. You could even like get on highest settings so you can see the entire world and have beautiful shadows and stuff. And in the end, it's gonna look amazing. You're gonna have a smooth video that looks beautiful, even though you have a potato PC. And if they don't do this, then people that have bad computers are at a huge disadvantage. So I'm not saying that because I have a potato computer. I mean, how many FPS do I have? What's the button? I have 140 FPS right now, so this is really not a problem that affects me. But I had a computer once where I played on 30 FPS. Many people have worse computers. Many people can't afford computers that would have a lot of FPS here. And I know Hytale runs relatively well on bad computers, but still, I think that is something that I would honestly be very disappointed if it doesn't come. I mean, I would understand if it's not added because it's something you probably wouldn't even think about, but once you're aware of the idea of doing that, I think you have to do it, because you can't just create that disparity between people with worse and better computers, because that puts the people that have worse computers at such a disadvantage. But also just doing that, like, it brings everyone on one level. Like, of course, people with potato computers still are gonna have a kind of harder time working, but the end result can still be as amazing as the person with the good computer did, and still get the same audience and recognition. Like, imagine there's this great machinima out there that has beautiful visuals, a great animation, a captivating story, but you clicked off after 5 seconds because the render distance was like to this tree and it had like 5 FPS. We don't want that. We want everyone to be able to create something awesome here. Yeah, so I think those 4 things would be what I think is necessary to do here. Of course, these are just ideas. This is not the solution to fix everything. This is not the solution to make perfect machinima tools for Hytale. I'm also just a person with certain experience and expectations and needs. Other people are gonna have different ideas. But I hope maybe if this video reaches some people, that there can also be like sort of a discussion where more people share their ideas and their needs and their expectations, because that is what we need in the end. I asked on Twitter once when the Machinima Tools update is gonna like, when it's time for that, and Kitar, I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly, said that work on that update would begin in 2 to 3 weeks, and that was like a month ago. So they're already working on the Machinima Tools update, and I think if more people talked about what they want from that update, that would not only help them, but also just be good for us, because like, who knows what they're making right now. I'm sure it's cool, but if we say what we need, then they can pay attention to that, you know? Yeah, so I hope this video reaches at least someone at Hypixel Studios to at least consider some of my ideas, and I hope it reaches some other Hytale players and machinima makers that can share their ideas in the comments. And also, I made some posts a while ago on the Hytale feature requests forum, I think it's called, where I basically talked about most of what I talked about here today. I'm gonna put links to those in the comments so you can like upvote them and comment on them if you want. But yeah, I hope this video was like understandable and stuff, and I hope maybe it reaches someone, and I'm looking forward to the update of the Machinima tools and generally just seeing how it all will evolve in the next couple of years. And I hope that one soon day I will also be able to make a Machinima in Hytale, because I know I'd love to, but the tools right now, I just gotta be honest, I could try, but they're not there at all to make anything of the things I would wanna make. And it's not like I'm trying to make the next like blockbuster. I just wanna make some stuff, you know. Yeah, so thanks everyone for watching and listening to me, and I hope something great can be created here